2023 is coming to a close, and I've already talked about my favorite movies of 2023. It's the fun list, everybody. Welcome to my top 10 worst movies of 2023. And I want to start off with a little topic before getting into anything. I want to say this. People who out there who said you do not need to be doing top 10 worst videos. You know what? It's fair because as a person that has made short films, is trying to become a film director, making movies is so damn hard. And I respect anyone out there who made a movie. Seriously, you made a movie. Congratulations. I am so happy for you. But the thing is, when it comes to just opinions, we all have them. So, with just like food, if someone works hard on a food product and you eat it and you don't like it, you're gonna give yourself an opinion. I watch a movie, I'm gonna do my opinion. And with this kind of list, it just talks about one more time in a ranking video because mass audiences want that. So, with all that being said, this is my list. This is my personal opinion. You're gonna disagree with me. So, with all that said, roll the intro.
Here's Johnny.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Expecto Patronum!
Now, before getting started with the list, I do have a few dishonorable mentions. I have 5 to say because honestly, this year, the bad ones were noticeable in my opinion. So that's a good thing for movies, but these movies need to be talked about just one more time because I didn't like a lot of them. So let's go ahead and get started. We have Sisu. That's a hot take. I didn't like it. Asteroid City. I'm one of those people. Did not like it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Meh, like just a big meh to DC. We have Hypnotic, you don't even know what I'm talking about, Ben Affleck. And finally, coming in close, House Party. Did you even know they made a new House Party? It came out in January. Alright, I only have 5 dishonorable mentions. Let's get started with the list. Now, beginning with my 10th spot, every year for my worst list, my number 10 is usually the biggest disappointment of the year. I don't usually do top 10 disappointments of the year, so this spot is usually for that movie. And so for this year, my number 10 for disappointment and in the worst list, it was clear and simple. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. My goodness, from the director of Logan and Ford vs. Ferrari, we get the most generic action movie for the best action character to be in cinema history, Indiana Jones, and this movie goes out on a whimper. Listen, Harrison Ford gives it his all. We have great performances in our villain and supporting characters, but when you give me Indiana Jones and you give me just generic green screen when this franchise is known for its practicality, and don't give me he's 81 years old. I respect the man, but as a person that loves this franchise, watching this movie made me love Kingdom of Crystal Skull a lot more. That's a big problem. And don't even get me started on this third act. That was garbage. That was stupid and that was garbage. I did not like this movie. At number 9 is a movie that everyone apparently saw and honestly did not get horrible reviews, which is fine. Number 9 is Insidious The Red Door. Okay, listen. We have Insidious 5. I'm not a fan of Insidious 3 or 4, but to see Patrick Wilson and the original cast come back and he's directing, I had hope. This is not a good movie. It's not scary. It goes for more of a frat college party with a storyline of entire movie of these characters figuring out what happened in the first 2 movies. We as audiences know what happened in the first 2 movies, and the movie treats the characters in the movie as we're learning the whole movie. It's not entertaining then. I'm not learning anything new. I'm watching a non-scary movie that feels like it's milking this franchise into an ending that just feels such like a tack on for the old woman from the first couple movies. Listen, I loved the first 2 movies, or let me say the first one. This one feels like money grab, and I did not like it. I'm going to be respectable with my number 8 because the fans out there are respecting me, so I'm going to give respect back. My number 8 will be Five Nights at Freddy's. I did not like this movie. I thought it was not scary. I thought the entire kills could have been easily been rated R, which would have made this movie 10 times better. And honestly, the entire aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's being in this office never felt like in this movie except for 20 minutes maybe. And listen, I like Josh Hutcherson. I love Matthew Lillard. I love that this movie got success and we're gonna get a sequel. But to me, this felt as a video game movie that could have gone more into what we love about the video game and gave us this entire subplot with children and lost brother that felt so not interesting, and it tied in everything together. No, it did not. I did not find this movie scary. I thought it was really, really bad. But hey, I'm glad it did really well, and I'm glad the fans understand I'm not a hardcore fan. Honestly, I don't know a lot of people that saw number 7. Number 7 is Expendables. Listen, what are we doing? Seriously, Expendables is done. This franchise died 8 years ago. When did 3 come out? 2014? And that was PG-13. So they said, hey, let's make it rated R so everyone loves these movies again. No, not when you give us PlayStation 2 green screen and half-ass Sylvester Stallone to give us a fake death in the movie. So we're going to make Megan Fox the main character and Jason Statham. Listen, I like Jason Statham. This movie is not Expendables. There's no classic action stars. This is for the new generation. Make a new franchise. Don't call it Expendables. But hey, for the 4th one, it made no money, so let's say the franchise is done. Hey, did anyone know that we got our 15th Children of the Corn movie this year? Number 6 is Children of the Corn. 12, 15, 20, who knows? This movie's horrible. When we get to see what's in the grass, the monster, talk about PlayStation 1 graphics, not even PlayStation 2 graphics, PlayStation 1. This movie is not scary, not interesting, and it just repeats a movie that we've saw 20, 30 years ago. And think about it, that first Children of Corn movie is not that good, and this one is probably worse. I haven't seen the first one in a while, but this is not a good movie. I truly think this franchise needs to die, but give it to the right hands, maybe a Mike Flanagan kind of thing, it might work. He does good Stephen King movies. This is not one of them. Horrible CGI, horrible acting, just not a good scary movie. Now I can go ahead and hear you guys typing about my number 5. Listen, after the recent news that came out a few weeks ago, this movie is going to mean nothing anymore now. My number 5 is Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. I do not like this movie. I think this is easily the worst MCU movie. Out of all the 30 movies, this is the one. Horrible story, not interesting, characters that never get fully developed, like the main daughter, which I know you're trying to get her in the Young Avengers movie. This movie feels like nothing anymore except a Kang setup movie. But guess what? We don't even know if we're getting Kang anymore. So this movie literally feels like a nothing movie. It felt rushed. It felt like a setup episode to an entire season coming up, and it doesn't even matter anymore. I did not enjoy my time with this movie. It felt horribly dialogued, written. I just did not like this movie and just feels like a sellout for Marvel. Now, with my number 4 is a movie I gave a decent review to, but in my review, I say this franchise is still horrible and they're still producing movies that aren't quality and they're just complete mutterness. I'm gonna say it. Number 4 is Fast X. I like Jason Momoa. He's fun in this role. The family aspect has family. We make fun of these movies now, and I'm gonna continue to say it. They're bad movies, and how this one ends, I don't care if we get Fast 11. It's gonna be so stupid. They're superheroes now. We have soap opera, superhero, flying cars. Vin Diesel's a superhero now because he just can't die. He can crush cars like with his own arm. It's just like this movie means nothing. It feels like a product now. It's just Fast and Furious, whatever. And guess what? It didn't even do well, and Vin Diesel blamed Jason Momoa. My guy, Jason Momoa was the best part. All right, it is finally the top 3. These 3 movies, in my opinion, are awful. Do not like these movies. Number 3, have you heard of it? Fear. Not Fear with Mark Wahlberg. Fear from 2023. The movie that has 2 titles in the movie. This movie tries to take COVID and make it scary with demon stuff in a hotel. And it was like filmed in 20 days. Now listen, there are movies out there that were filmed in a month and they produce good quality. This movie produces horrible acting, in my opinion, horrible dialogue, horrible story blocking telling of a story that is set in one location, which can be creepy. It's not scary, it doesn't make sense with certain characters and plot points, and leads to absolutely nothing. This movie no one saw. I saw it in an empty theater, and I entirely forgot it came out until I looked at my list. I was like, that movie came out. I never want to watch it again. It's horribly directed, horribly lit, horrible CGI. Just a bad movie. Okay, I'm looking at my number 2 and my number 1. And I'm not gonna lie, in this very moment, right now as I'm recording, I'm gonna switch them. I'm gonna switch number 2 to number 1, and my number 1 to my 2. So that means my number 2, and the only reason, I'll explain why. Number 2 is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The movie everyone talked about because Winnie the Pooh became a scary murderer, and the movie does nothing with that. And the only reason I'm putting this at number 2 is because when I saw this in theaters, the audience I saw it with felt like the opening to Scream 2. It felt like an entire ride with this movie. And listen, there is aspects of an idea that could be fun with this movie. This movie doesn't do that. It feels cheap. It was made cheap. But I can tell you that the creative content that of a Winnie the Pooh horror movie could be better, with way better script, way better actors, a way better makeup artist, and you know what? Give us kills that feel memorable and not just CGI. And my God, get a light. I have a light. It's really bright in this room. This movie didn't have a light. They had no lights. You couldn't see a damn thing in this movie. This is a pathetic movie I even saw on the big screen. And we're getting a sequel, and to be fair, the set photos we've seen, it looks like they're gonna try a little bit in the makeup department, so we shall see. But also, the studio and producers came after people because of bad reviews. Fuck off. And now with my number 1, which is now my number 1 now because 3 minutes ago is my number 2. Number 1's a movie. When I saw it in theaters, I got up and I walked to the end of the aisle, and I stood there and looked at the screen, and I was like, I could leave. I could do something better with my day, and I could just honestly do anything in my life. Paint a wall, walk with the flowers, anything. I do not care to watch this movie. I gave it a second try. I find this movie lifeless, soulless, like a product of a movie studio that said, we just need money. There was no soul in this movie. My number 1. The worst movie of 2023, The Haunted Mansion. I hate this movie, guys. I do not like this movie. The main performer, Lakeith Stanfield, that is his name. He's good in this movie. He's giving a performance that could be worthy in a movie that doesn't feel soulless. This movie has product placement to products that feels literally like, hey, studio, we want like an extra $30,000 in our production. Let's do that. Hey, we have Jared Leto in our movie. Let's put him in CGI and not give him a performance that's worthy of his acting abilities. Hey, let's give his entire cast with horrible script writing and let's give it a scary vibe and not be scary. I know it's a ride. I know it's a kid's ride. But hey, give it like the 2003 Eddie Murphy movie. Have darker tones, and I like that movie. And I've never rode the ride, so go ahead and be like, oh, he doesn't do that, so he doesn't know anything. You might be right, but me watching this movie, I wanted to leave. I don't want to watch this movie again in my life. It's pathetic. It's soulless. It's a movie that to me feels like the studio said, we do not care. We just want to sell a product. Give me something in a movie with a story, acting, directing. This movie didn't have it. I hate this movie. It is my worst movie of the year, 2023. That is it, guys. That is it. That's 2023. That is my top 10 worst. I've already put out my top 10 best. There's no more reviews to do. That's the end of the year. 10 years of doing reviews, 11 years on YouTube. It's been a ride. But guess what? We have another year, 2024. I'm still going. Of course I am. Just always know I'm going to continue making short films and chasing my dream to be a director. And I'll always be doing movie reviews as long as I can. I love you guys so much. You guys do not know This is my biggest year on YouTube. You guys made this year so awesome to me, and my short film has been winning awards and getting selected to festivals. Things are happening, guys, and you guys blew my mind. And we're almost at 2K. We're almost at 2K. So you know what that means. We'll do a live stream once I'd hit the milestone, but thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for an incredible year. Let's make 2024 even bigger, which I don't know if we could do, but we're going to try. Have a great New Year's. Have a great holiday season with your family. Have a great time watching movies. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next year. Bye, everybody.